Oh, is Kate just get on? Oh, there's Kate. Yep, we're going live now. All right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Kate.
All right, Maria, you ready?
I am. I talked to Kristen earlier, so I think
Okay.
we're good to go
Great.
on all of that.
Wonderful.
We've got our quorum, so.
Yep, we went live.
Just saw that, yes.
All right, Mr. Secretary, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
All right, great. All right. And I think I saw Maria, I think.
Yes.
I am here, Judge Williams. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, just a long week, but we got to keep moving.
Absolutely.
Good
Yeah.
to see you, Judge.
Yeah, and Kate, last Friday I was out when you all were scheduling a short call with Kristen. Yeah, I just wasn't
Yes.
available. I wasn't on my computer, and I just couldn't get there. And I didn't find out that you all had a brief conversation until that evening.
Oh, all right. No worries, Judge.
Yeah, no problem. But I can catch up later. That's no problem.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, look
Maria, we're
forward.
live and we have a quorum yet?
We have a quorum and we are live. Section
Okay.
recording.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
And the interpretation is set and the closed captioning is on.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How you doing, Cheryl?
Hi, Judge.
All right. Great. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Maria, how many people have signed up for this evening?
16.
All right, thank you.
No problem. John, do you want to get ready and put the instructions on the screen? All right, John, we ready? Dr. Hetherington, are you ready?
Yes, I am, Maria.
All right, I'll get started then. Well, good evening and welcome to the 8th and final regional round 1 public meeting of the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission. My name is Maria Sophia and I'm in for Kristen Fleckenstein tonight. This meeting is being recorded. As we begin, there are a few matters to share regarding the rules and policies for this evening's meeting, as well as some tips about the platform that will assist in our understanding of how the Zoom platform will work. This meeting offers Spanish interpretation. To listen in Spanish, you will note that there is a box on the Zoom control panel at the bottom of your screen for interpretation. Please click on that box and select Spanish. We also ask that speakers speak slowly and clearly to facilitate this. There will be a 3-minute allotment for speakers so that everyone who wants to speak may speak. When there is 20 seconds left of your speaking time, a share screen will come on with a countdown timer. Inappropriate speaking, attire, behavior, or background will result in removal from the meeting without an option to rejoin. Anyone registering to speak after 5 p.m. today should ask to join as a speaker in the chat section, as your name will not be on the list of pre-registered speakers. If you did not register to speak but want to, you can request to do so in a message to the panelist via the chat feature. There is a control bar at the bottom of your screen. Select the chat box and then send a message to the panelist indicating your name and the county in which you reside. The raised hand option should not be used to request to speak. Speakers should ensure their name is listed properly, and if not, please change it to reflect your correct name. This is because we have to move each speaker from attendee status to a panelist so that they may speak. Please note the participant list is not public to protect the privacy of those calling in due to their phone numbers being listed. Pre-registered speakers will go first. Then the chat request speakers will be called in order of request. Speakers providing testimony should be aware that they will be made a panelist when it is their turn to speak, which will enable them to unmute and turn on their camera. There may be a short delay while the speaker screen goes from attendee to a panelist. This is normal. The speaker will see a screen message indicating that the host would like to promote you to be a panelist. The speaker needs to accept by clicking the Join as a Panelist button. We will wait 5 seconds for the speaker to go live. If the speaker does not join, we will move on to the next speaker and come back at the end to call on any person who missed their chance to speak. Once speakers are finished, we must move them back to being an attendee. This may result in a speaker seeing a spinning wheel or message on their screen, indicating they are rejoining the meeting. The speaker is not being removed from the meeting. The Zoom platform is simply changing screens. We know this is a lot of information, but want to assist you in understanding how this meeting will operate so it can go as smoothly as possible. With that, I would like to introduce you to the host for this evening's meeting, Dr. Kate Hetherington, who serves as one of the co-chairs to the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission. Dr. Hetherington.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you for all your preparation for this meeting. And thanks to John, too, who's operating behind the scenes. Welcome, everyone. I am Kate Hetherington. I am one of the co-chairs of the Maryland Citizens Redistricting Commission, and I am president of Howard Community College and a resident of Howard County. With that, I'd like the other members of the commission to introduce themselves, and we'll begin with the other co-chairs. Walter.
Thank you, Kate. I'm Walter Olson. I'm a senior fellow at a think tank in Washington, D.C. I live in Frederick County.
Okay, thank you. Judge Williams.
Yes, good afternoon. I am Alex Williams. I'm a retired United States District Court judge, and I reside in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Thank you, Judge. And now the members of the commission. Jay.
Good evening. My name is Jay Amin. I'm a resident of Anne Arundel County, and I am a land development and land brokerage services consultant in Ellicott City.
Thank you. Cheryl.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Brooks, an elementary school principal and a resident of Baltimore County.
Thank you. Mary.
Hello, I'm Mary Clausen. I'm a retired federal employee and a resident of Anne Arundel County.
Thank you. Kim. Kim, hi.
Hi, my name's Kimberly Cummings. I'm a long-term resident of the Eastern Shore, currently residing in Dorchester County, where I'm employed at the Dorchester County Circuit Court, supervising land records and licensing.
Thank you. Jonathan.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Fussfield. I'm a communications manager for a research firm, and I live in Montgomery County.
Thank you. And William.
Good evening, everyone. My name is William Thomas. I'm a senior principal systems engineer for the Department of Defense. I'm also a grassroots organizer, and I reside in Baltimore City.
All right. Thank you to all of our members of the commission. At this time, I'd like to review what's next for the commission and for the public. And as Maria mentioned, this is the 8th meeting of round 1 when we've had the pleasure of listening to the citizens of Maryland give their opinions about redistricting. Let me talk to you about the next 2 rounds. So round 2 will begin on August 25th, and it will be held virtually. This round will focus primarily on the 2020 census data that's being released on August 16th by the U.S. Census Bureau. We should stress here that the purpose of the second round is to hear from the public as to the data and the ways in which it impacts district boundaries. Speakers and written testimony during this round should focus on specific data from the Census Bureau rather than general opinions on the redistricting process. That's what we've been doing during the process of round 1, and we welcome additional input tonight and in the coming weeks via written submissions. Those submissions can be given to redistricting.commission@maryland.gov. So we have a very busy agenda tonight, but more information with specifics as to the round 2 public meetings and how the public can submit their own map recommendations will soon be posted to redistricting.maryland.gov. At the end of round 2, the commission will enter a working session period to construct our recommended maps. Once the maps are drawn by the commission, round 3 will serve as a means of public presentation of them and an opportunity for public feedback. Round 3 is tentatively scheduled to begin on October 28th. So stay tuned to more information, but please keep checking redistricting.commission@maryland.gov for updated information. And with that, we will begin tonight's public commentary. And Maria, would you please invite the first member?
I sure will.
Public.
Our first speaker tonight is Tamara Davis Brown. Tamara, you are now a panelist.
Ms. Brown, you're up. There you go. You're on mute. We can't see you. If you want us to see us, you want to put your camera on. If not, you can just go ahead and speak.
Good
Ms.
evening,
Davis.
and thank you. Yes, good evening,
Okay.
and thank you. I did have a brief opportunity to speak before the commission during the hearing for St. Charles, Calvert, and St. Mary's County, and I indicated that I would speak more during Prince George's County. My name is, again, Tamara Davis Brown. I reside in Clinton, Maryland, which is in the southern most portion of Prince George's County. As you know, and are already aware, that the Maryland law requires our districts to be contiguous, compact, closely aligned of community interests and respect political boundaries. And I want to kind of focus on the third, community of impact. Clinton is a community of interest, actually such that we probably could be our own municipality if we so desired. We have a hospital, we have a regional park, high school, middle school, 4 elementary schools, our own library, post office, yet we are divided into 3 legislative districts: District 25, District 26, and District 27. Our former senator for District 27 picked his voters as opposed to allowing the voters to pick him. And as a result, because he lived in Calvert County off the Chesapeake, he basically dragged District 27 all the way down to Calvert County. And we actually, I'm here to say that I think that Clinton should be contiguous and be represented by, we have enough residents where we should have our own senator, as well as our 3 legislative delegates. And so my comments are pretty much that simple, that we should not be allowing our political officials select their voters, but that the voters vote for who they would like. And we want to continue to keep our districts together here in Clinton. In fact, 25 and 26 were created out of political, to avoid political rivalry. And so obviously that is violative of any fairness. And I see my time is running out. I do still plan to present some maps once we get the census data for round 2, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Davis Brown. Maria, our next speaker.
Our next speaker is Nicole Williams from Prince George's County. Nicole, you are now a panelist.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Nicole Williams. I'm actually a state delegate here in Prince George's County, Maryland, representing District 22, and just wanted to provide comments. I've heard a lot of chatter with regards to kind of some of the thoughts around redistricting and what the districts would look like especially with regards to the state legislative districts. And just from the things that I've read in my own personal research, I actually am a proponent of the multi-member district concept. I feel like the multi-member district concept actually benefits people of color as well as women in terms of having a greater ability in terms of getting elected to public office. And, studies have shown that when you do single member districts, it has a tendency to negatively affect candidates of color as well as women candidates. And so for those reasons, I am a proponent of maintaining the multi-member districts that we currently have. And I'm speaking on behalf of myself as an individual. So I just want to make that very clear.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms.
Alrighty,
Williams.
thank you.
Maria?
So our next speakers, so we actually have a couple that have not shown up yet. Richard Elliot, Linda Dorsey Walker, Antoine Brown, or Matthew Silvergate. If you are on, please let us know. So right now, our next speaker at this point will be Monica Roebuck from Prince George's County. Monica, you are now a panelist.
Okay. Good evening to the Redistricting Committee and Prince George's County residents. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk on this very important topic. My name is Monica Roebuck, and I'm a resident in Prince George's County, where I reside in Bowie. I'm a teacher, a former member of the Board of Elections, and a voting rights advocate. Redistricting, or redrawing the boundaries for our congressional and legislative districts, is an essential step in the voting process. It is the first step to ensure that voters are organized in a way that they can use their collective voice to make a difference. This process will also determine where voters can vote and who they can vote for. It is critical that the process is accurately and fairly done as we prepare for the upcoming 22 election. Boundary lines should be drawn in a contiguous manner and districts that share similar interests and needs. Boundaries should be drawn to empower the voter, not for a political party or an elected official. For the upcoming election cycle, we need to make sure that districts are drawn with an equal population. This will help to ensure that every area has an equal number of representatives, or that power is equally distributed. With this in mind, legislative districts should have equal populations. As it currently stands, some are much larger than others. For example, 23A is much smaller than 23B. There are also districts such as 27 that encompasses Prince George's County and Calvert County. These areas have two distinct demographics and needs. I recommend that these districts be drawn differently and any other that are similar to this. Prince George's County has close to 1 million people and over 500,000 registered voters, and I recommend that we have 2 congressmen for Prince George's County. The needs of Calvert, St. Mary's, and Prince George's are all different, and I don't see, if we apply the rules to make it contiguous, how we would have 1 congressional district in 3 different counties. In closing, I believe that since our population data has increased in the last 10 years, we have to ensure that lines are drawn fairly and equally. We are less than a year away from the 22 primary, and voters deserve to know which area they will be in. It is important to complete the process in a timely way. Voters may have a new precinct and a polling place to learn. There are congressional and legislative districts, but voters may also have councilmanic districts, and some of these areas may not overlap. I think it would be great to inform the public of the timeline as you finalize your work. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to the new changes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Roebuck.
Should I email this to you as well? Would you like that?
You can email it, sure, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Our
Thank you.
Our next panelist is George Gluck from Montgomery County. George, you are now a panelist.
I don't see him
Oh,
as.
there he is.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Gluck. Just need you to unmute. Okay, good.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. So, good evening,
ahead.
listeners. My name is George Gluck. I reside in Rockville. And as you can see, I'm a member of the Maryland Green Party. And we'd like to give kudos to Governor Hogan for establishing a multi-partisan commission for redistricting. Green Party members are part of the 20% of Maryland voters who are not represented by bipartisan commissions. And we appreciate having 3 commissioners, 1/3 of you, represent us. The Maryland Green Party platform stands upon 4 pillars, and the redistricting process speaks to 2 of them: grassroots democracy and social justice. There is no democracy without an open political system that works for every member of society, and commissions like this put the people first and the politicians second. To secure an inclusive, equitable society, those with little or no political voice need to be heard, not just listened to. Carefully considering all community of interest maps that are submitted to you by such groups will further social justice by engaging citizens in the decisions that affect their daily lives. We strongly support a multi-district legislature, but only if it is combined with ranked choice voting. I live in the highly gerrymandered 6th congressional district. Before the state redistricting a decade ago, about 1/4 of the registered voters had registered Republican, and 2 of the 8 Maryland representatives to Congress were Republican, a quasi-proportional representation of Marylanders throughout the state. I say quasi because even before Republicans saw one of their representatives gerrymandered out of office by a Democratic Party-dominated redistricting committee, there was another underrepresented group in Congress: everybody else. Aside from the 4 minor parties, working class, bread and roses, libertarian and green, plus other and unaffiliated, which on 10/17/2020 comprised more than 20% of Maryland's registered voters, a proportional redistricting must somehow take into account and encourage the remaining group of Maryland citizens, the approximately 1/4 of those eligible to register who have not. Thank you for the opportunity to shed light onto a process that in Maryland has been historically shrouded in secrecy.
Thank you, Mr. Gluck.
Thank you.
Maria?
Our next panelist is Heather Olson from Prince George's County. Heather, oh, I'm sorry, I think Mr. Moore accidentally did that. I apologize. Heather Olson, you are now a panelist.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
I was having some technical issues.
Can't hear you now. You're on mute. There you go.
Sorry about that. Good evening. My name is Heather Olson. I live in Hyattsville, and I have been active in local politics here in Prince George's County in various capacities over the years. I currently serve as the Maryland State Leader for Stand Up Republic, a national grassroots organization that advocates for government reform. As Governor Hogan stated in his executive order, voters should choose their elected representatives and not the other way around. Unfortunately, that has not been the case in the past. Here in Prince George's County, a powerful longstanding incumbent congressman has invariably used his influence to ensure that his district is drawn in such a way as to minimize the possibility he will face a serious challenge in either the primary or the general election. In the past, governors have sometimes used the redistricting process to reward allies and punish enemies. For example, in the last redistricting, one local delegate of his own party who had crossed Governor O'Malley found himself punished by having his house moved into a new district, with even his neighbors across the street left in his old district. You have been charged with drawing districts that are compact and respect county and municipal boundaries. I want to emphasize the importance of this. I live in Hyattsville, about a mile from the district line. My neighbors and I have very different priorities and concerns than the residents of rural Anne Arundel County, yet we are currently thrown together in the 4th Congressional District. Hyattsville currently includes 2 congressional congressional districts. Prior to the 2010 redistricting, it actually included 3 districts, and my home was in what then Congressman Al Wynn called the Isthmus of Hyattsville, a 4-block wide strip connecting southern Prince George's County to Montgomery County. You could throw a stone and hit either the 8th district or the 5th district at that time. When districts are drawn this way, citizens often don't know which district they live in or who represents them. The representatives are just as uncertain. Several years ago, I called my congressional office with a problem I needed constituent service help with. I was already extremely frustrated by the problem and found it doubly frustrating that I had to wait while a staff member looked up my address in a computer to determine I did in fact live in the district before she could attempt to help me with my problem. I also want to speak in favor of single-member districts. In a 3-member district, an outsider candidate, whether challenging the incumbents in the primary or running as an independent or minor party candidate in the general election, is at a severe disadvantage. The incumbents almost invariably form a slate and run together, multiplying the advantages of incumbency.
Ms. Olson, I'm sorry, you're out of time.
Okay, sorry.
All right, thank you for your testimony tonight. You can submit written testimony if you have more that you'd like us to see. All right, Maria.
Our next panelist is Tammy Norman from Prince George's County. Tammy, you are now a panelist.
Tammy, if you would unmute yourself, please. We cannot hear you.
There
we go.
Yes.
All right. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, both. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Commission members and fellow Maryland residents. My name is Tammy Norman, and I'm speaking on the behalf of the League of Women Voters of Prince George's County. The League of Women Voters is the oldest nonpartisan voting, education, and advocacy group, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. We would like to commend Governor Hogan for establishing the commission as a keystone of the 2021 state redistricting. It is our hope and expectation that this is a nonpartisan approach will help to promote fair and effective representation in the Maryland General Assembly. We also deeply appreciate your commitment to taking on the difficult task and time-consuming responsibility of creating fair and impartial district maps. Prince George's County has evolved over the last 30 to 40 years, and according to the 2010 US Census, was the 2nd most populated county in Maryland. Our county includes a very diverse group of communities and residents who span a wide range of education, social, and economic differences. Prince George's County is the largest and most affluent African-American majority county in the United States. And unfortunately, we also have residents who struggle to provide for their families, people working 2 and 3 jobs and still yearning for success. Our state league has created a map that overlays hard to count tracts for the 2020 census, with communities that rank high on the Center of Disease Control Social Vulnerability Index. These maps show that all too often, undercounted communities are also underserved. While all voices must be heard, some must be amplified. For the sake of equality, as the new maps are drawn, we must all work together to encourage these communities. Prince George's County district lines need to be drawn to benefit all county residents. We firmly believe in our county motto, Prince George is proud. Part of it, proud of it. We anticipate that the commission will ensure that we have a district lines that make sure all Prince George's County residents are part of it. District lines that we can all be proud of. Finally, we are grateful that you are hosting these listening sessions. We, the members of the League of Women Voters of Prince George's County, stand with you and are willing to assist you in creating and implementing a fair, equitable redistricting plan. We hope that our great state of Maryland can be a shining example of how to go through the redistricting process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Norman.
Our next panelist is Zaylee Harris from Charles County. Zaylee, you are now a panelist.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Zaylee.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. I appreciate everything that you guys have gone through to listen to all of the virtual redistricting sessions. Prince George's County is a place where I lived the last 40 years before moving to Charles County. And I still have Prince George's County there's a 27A and 27B, and one senator and one delegate, whereas 27B.
Ms. Harris, we're having some difficulties hearing you tonight.
My concern is that Prince George's County needs to be fixed, just fixed. It needs to be contiguous. Charles County needs to have its own demographics and culture, and it needs to be fixed. Please make one district for Prince George's County and one district for Charles County, and keep them single member districts. That's my speak for the night. I look forward to round 2, and I certainly look forward to round 3 so that we can see the maps and have discussion and dialogue about the maps. I pray, and I'm sure I'm joined by others, that we do not have to go through a very negative legislative session over these maps, over these districts, and over who's going to vote for who and who's going to live where, so that they can determine who they want to vote for them. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy your time off during the break between the 2 rounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Our next panelist is Tess Morrison from Prince George's County. Tess, you are now a panelist.
I hope you can see me.
Not yet.
We can hear you.
All right, well then I'll just start speaking.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Morrison.
I'm going to be short and sweet.
All right.
Start my video. Here we go.
Now we can see you.
All right. I'm going to be short and sweet. I live in Silver Spring in the retirement community, Riderwood Retirement Community. I'm a registered Democrat, and I strongly believe in not having gerrymandered districts. I think if we are going to talk about other states being gerrymandered, we need to walk our talk. And I think that we have a strong enough policies that we can stand on our own. So I'm hoping very much, looking forward to number 3 round to see the maps, and hope that we are strong in being equitable all the way around. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison.
Our next panelist is Jerry Faith from Charles County. Jerry, you are now a panelist.
Jerry, you need to unmute. We can see you now. You're good now.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jerry Faith. I'm a associate member of the Charles County Central Committee. I'm a member of the associate member of the Republican Women of Charles County. I'm a member of the Republican Jewish Coalition, and I'm confident that the commission will be fair. I'm trying to focus on the single member concept rather than the multi-member concept. And the reason for that is the single member concept benefits smaller, is beneficial. Small single delegate districts allow a delegate to get to know constituents and the community's needs by living side by side with the people they represent. The intimate knowledge that a delegate has of their own surroundings matters because that knowledge is the basis for their decisions. That is not possible in large districts. A delegate can be more responsive to issues of all constituents when fewer constituents are living in a smaller geographical area. Creating smaller districts will provide some intimacy to the relationship between voters and their delegate, whom they are held accountable. A smaller, compact district with fewer constituents will encourage a healthy competition of candidates representing diverse interests in the community. A candidate for a single district seat can run a successful grassroots campaign on a more modest budget. And I would like to emphasize that the existence of multi-member districts has been denounced by prominent Supreme Court justices across the political spectrum. Thurgood Marshall, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sandra Day O'Connor, Antonin Scalia, Justice O'Connor wrote that the multi-member district inherently submerges the votes of the minority. So when these people say the multi-member benefits people of color or women and this kind of concept, there's no evidence for their articulation, which is a problem. If you're going to make a statement of that, you should have evidence. They would just like to keep it status quo in the particular areas, the multi-member areas in which they get reelected. So I'm confident that this commission will do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Faith. Appreciate your testimony. Next, Maria.
Our next panelist is Nicole Drew from Montgomery County. Nicole, you just need to unmute.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't realize I was up
No
next.
problem.
I just saw that my computer went out. I'll be on just a second. Good evening. My name is Nicole Drew, and I am a Maryland resident of Montgomery County, but my testimony today is on behalf of Rosie Allen Herring, a Prince George's County resident and the regional director of the 25 Maryland chapters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We urge this commission to, 1, ensure a fair and transparent process, 2, that you consider and respect any community of interest maps, and 3, ensure that the voting power and participation is not diluted in communities of color. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority is a nonpartisan organization of 1,000 chapters in the U.S. and abroad. In Maryland, there are a total of 25 chapters. 10 chapters are the student members at Maryland undergraduate institutions, and the other 15 chapters are members who have graduated from various colleges and universities. And many of the chapters have membership rosters totaling upwards of 900 plus members, each of whom are registered and active voters in every congressional district in this state. With our collective chapter members, community partners, and the public communities that we serve, we are able to have a strong collaborative impact in the state of Maryland, which is why we are here to provide a voice to the communities that we serve. The manner in which districts are drawn affects every political issue, from the economy to healthcare to public education. And therefore, we urge you to continue to be transparent and ensure a fair process. We want to ensure that our districts are represented by politicians that understand and will respect the wishes of the communities that they serve. And when politicians manipulate maps for personal or political gain, it prevents residents from having our voices heard on policies that affect us. We also ask that this commission consider and respect any community interest maps that are submitted from advocacy organizations such as ours. A good redistricting process will be open and transparent, allowing communities to give input. In prior testimony, we heard a request that you provide the rationale to explain why the maps were drawn. We also support this suggestion, which ensures that this process remains transparent and fair. And additionally, in order to build trust that the maps have not been unfairly manipulated, we ask that this commission not draw maps that favor partisanship. And finally, Any maps that are drawn should be mindful not to dilute the voting power and political representation of communities of color. Maryland has had its share of critique about the last redistricting process, but we want to ensure that our voice is considered to ensure fair congressional maps and that there is no racial gerrymandering that will dilute the voting strength of African Americans and other communities of color. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Drew.
Our next panelist is Sia Finno. I apologize if I butchered your last name, from Prince George's County. Sia, you are now a panelist. Just need to unmute.
All right, thank you. Hello, can you hear me? Hi.
We can hear you, we can see you.
Thank you so much. You pronounced my name perfectly, no worries. I want to thank each and every one of you for having me, giving me this time to speak. This is my first time on the panel to speak, so please forgive me. I am actually a Prince Georgian. I've been living in Prince George's County since I was 13. I came to the United States in 1991, and I've been in Prince George's County since then. I'm part of the African immigrant community, and I'm actually a candidate for Prince George's County Council District 3. To me, redistricting means manipulation of our elections. And this is very un-American and undemocratic, as I see it. Redistricting encourages manipulation of our elections by allowing politicians to help their allies and to destroy their political enemies. Instead of the citizens choosing them, they redistrict, they draw the lines where they can pick those that they want them to vote for them. And I think this process is a means of furthering political goal by redrawing the district to protect incumbents and reduce competition, rather than ensuring equal voting power of representation. I am for a member redistricting. I'm not for the multi-member redistricting. I believe that we should be able to give our residents the power, the voting right to vote for whomever they want. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Finno. You too.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Richard Elliot from Prince George's County. Richard, you are now a panelist.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are. We can't see you.
That's fine. I'm at the Top Golf outside, so it would look kind of strange anyway. So hello, everybody. Thank you to the panel for giving us the opportunity to speak on redistricting. You all probably remember I spoke with the Baltimore City and the Baltimore metropolitan area. I want to stick with the same message that in the redistricting at both the county council and the state legislative district levels, that municipalities and neighborhoods must be kept whole. As an example, I live in the 5th councilmanic district, but all of my neighbors live in the 6th, and up the street less than a quarter of a mile starts District 3. If the maps can follow naturally existing major roads, municipalities, and neighborhoods, it can be much more easy for people to understand who they're voting for, and to maintain proper representation for communities. In the upcoming legislative redistricting, as a resident of Glendale, I request that the community of Glendale, comprising over 13,000 people and being hundreds of acres, thousands of acres of land, be placed into one legislative district. I thank you all for your time, and I hope that during the upcoming redistricting that it's kept fair for Prince Georgians and fair for our voters as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott.
Our next panelist is Linda Dorsey Walker from Baltimore County. Linda, you are now a panelist.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Dorsey Walker. We can hear you. We cannot see you.
Okay. Well, I just want to reiterate what I've previously said, that this is an opportunity for those individuals who have gotten used to the kind of lifestyle that we have to offer in Maryland, to revisit the notion of whether we want that to change. We have had and enjoyed a lot of successes here in Maryland with things as they are. We currently have multi-member districts, and it has given opportunities to women to get elected, minorities to get elected, and there are individuals who are saying now, no, we want only single member districts because it will give our team, as if we had teams, a turn at bat. We need to revisit the notion of, do we really want to have those kinds of criteria be what we move forward on? Do we really want to elect individuals who may or may not have the best interest of the state in mind? We currently have a lot of successes here. There is no reason to feel like something is going wrong. Work harder at getting your party established and elected, rather than try to change things that are working so well for the citizenry now. Yes, there are things that need to be fixed. Yes, the gerrymandering has to end. But in terms of the multi-member district format, I've laid out cases before in the last 2 times I testified why it is legal, why the very fact that we happen to be one of the few states that still have it does not mean that we must end it altogether. I think that we need to go with what's working. And multi-member districts are working for us just fine. And it's keeping some of the worst instincts that we see presented in some of the other states that surround us and throughout the country from creeping into Maryland. And we need to keep that in mind. Do we really want that to become our new reality here in Maryland? So thank you very much for the opportunities that you've given me to testify. And I wish you the best as you move forward, and hope that everyone will have opportunity to participate in the training exercise for the map drawing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Dorsey Walker. Maria?
So we have a couple of people that have not gotten on that were, if you are on, please let us know. Fontasha Sims, Antoine Brown, Matthew Silvergate. If they do not get on or let us know that they're here, our last speaker will be Councilwoman Denise Tavares. So Councilwoman, you are now a panelist.
Councilwoman Tavares, you're on.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this time, and thank you for this opportunity. Based on what I'm seeing right now, I am the only Latina speaking before you tonight. To me, that should be a red flag. That should be concerning, just as equally as I look before you and I don't see one individual in this commission that reflects the interests of the community that I represent, or that is reflective of this community through as a role model. So it's hard for me in that I hear that we should return to multi-level districts when the reality is that I've had literally in the fact that I've had mostly during my time living here in Prince George's County, multi-member districts, we've had a school. We've had schools we have the most overcrowded schools that I would say in the state, and I would say that definitely in the county. And I've had temporary trailers that are over 50 years old. And we've been highly neglected as a Latino community that's reflected here in this area. And I do believe that I am advocating for single member districts because we do need that specialized care and touch that is highly required by somebody that actually reflects the community and that is close to the community to reflect those interests and those needs. And at this time, I just feel that it's a challenge when we have individuals that are not only trying to eliminate all Latino representation, running for office, but at the same time, individuals that have done nothing, even when they were sitting there, now also running for office and now trying to say that they've made a difference. And it's hard to see that. So while I want to say that proportional representation is ideal because it eliminates a lot of the problems that we're highlighting with gerrymandering. But the issue is that we do not live in an ideal world. If we were doing this nationwide, I would say yes, it allows for us to have all the representation and address all the needs, the income bracket, the diversity, et cetera. But that's not the reality we live in. And so with that, I want to highlight the fact that we do need at least maintain the multi-level districts in the areas that are proportionally African-American and create the single member districts in the areas that are highly Latino. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Tavares.
So we have a couple more that have signed up through the chat feature.
Okay.
Laverne Scott from Prince George's County, you are now a panelist. Laverne, you just need to unmute.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Laverne Scott. I'm in Fort Washington, Maryland, in Prince George's County. I'm in District 8, and hopefully we could keep District 8 separate from District 9, that we will only be 2 separate districts and not be combined with Waldorf and St. Mary's County. Each district has their own issues to present with the county. So hopefully District 8 will stand alone as well as District 9. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Maria?
Yes, so it appears Margaret Mensler is signed up to speak, but she is sitting next to Tess Morrison. So just see if we can get her on again.
Thank you. I'm Tess Morrison, and I'm here to speak on behalf of my neighbor, Margaret Peggy Mensler, who has low vision. We live in Gracefield Road, Silver Spring, Maryland, which is part of Prince George's County. Peggy and her husband have lived in Prince George's County for over 50 years, and she has run for public office in the county 4 times. She was elected a delegate to the Maryland Constitutional Convention of 1967-68, which led to the modernization of our state government. This is Peggy's testimony. I am very disappointed with the boundaries of many of present Maryland's congressional districts, which are more gerrymandered than compact. The effect has been Democratic politicians choosing their constituents rather than the voters choosing their congressional representatives. In addition, compact areas would benefit candidates by being easier and less expensive in which to run. The basis of fair maps is the US Census, of course, but the 2020 census is likely to be less accurate than hoped for. Less emphasis should be placed on districts being based on equal population, and perhaps a 5% variance would be acceptable. The overall result should take into account minority representation. Blacks are about 31%, whites at 58%. Republican voters are about 38% and deserve at least 2 districts. Drawing fair maps is not child's play, but it's not rocket science either. You're dealing primarily with 23 counties in the city of Baltimore. Maryland's natural geography and population centers are Western Maryland, Southern Maryland, Eastern Shore, city of Baltimore, minority majority about 828,000, Montgomery County about 1 million, Prince George's County, minority majority approximately 900,000, and Baltimore County approximately 609,000. With the state's overall population of 6.2 million divided by 8 would be approximately 772,000 for each congressional district. When these categories need to be added to or subtracted from, the additional voters should come from a compact area of an adjoining county and/or preserve communities of interest. My retirement community, Riderwood Village of 2,500 residents/voters, is a prime example of a community of interest. We are split almost equally between Montgomery and Prince George's counties. Gracefield Road is our only address and used only for our community, with the higher numbers being in Prince George's County and the lower numbers in Montgomery County. Our local management has learned to deal with 2 jurisdictions, but 1 congressperson would be desirable. The commission should carefully evaluate, and a draft map should be released in a timely fashion so that citizen feedback can be taken into account. We appreciate your provision for citizen input and look forward to a fair map. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mensler, and thank you, Ms. Morrison, for providing assistance. Maria?
Our last speaker, if no one else has signed up to the chat, is Michael Wine. I apologize if I butchered that, from Prince George's County. Michael, you are now a panelist.
Hi, good afternoon. I actually did sign up. I don't know why that did not go through. I do want to, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can see you. We can hear you.
Great. I'm an appellate and trial attorney out of Greenbelt, Maryland. I live in Bowie, and I have actually worked on redistricting for a couple decades, including going back through college, and I've written on the topic. I do want to go and just talk on 2 points because I know that our time is limited. One is, I do want to go and stress to this commission that back in 2009, 2010, there were people within the Democratic Party, Democratic activists, that were not in favor of what happened in Maryland. It was not something that was uniform, that it was accepted, and the people who were against it were also very concerned of how it would look to go in and have these sort of maps. Myself, I was going in, I believe on election day 2009, helping Fran Cradaville, who ended up being the congressman from the 1st District, win. And that's a kind of an example of how Maryland should be on a simple level in terms of what this commission can do, is to adopt Maryland's constitutional requirements on contiguity and compactness, make sure that's applied to congressional districts. That is something that unfortunately does not exist on the federal level, but should be applied in Maryland, regardless of any sort of commission, whether or not it's independent or whatnot. Secondly, I want to let this commission know that there's an upcoming issue, and I think that this commission should consider this in terms of electoral college reform. It's not been something that's been addressed, but I've actually written articles that have been published related to the issue of winner-take-all versus the congressional district method that Maine and Nebraska use. And if we're going to have reform on electoral college, and I wrote this before the 2020 elections that Biden won, if we're going to do that, it's something to consider in conjunction. Maryland was actually the last one state that back in 1836 actually had a congressional district. It was not winner take all. And there's an opportunity, if this commission is serious about going and having reform in a nonpartisan or bipartisan method, to also incorporate electoral college reform. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to figure out how to go and submit written testimony, but I'm happy to do so. I thank this commission for its time. And if anyone has any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wine. Maria?
All right. We do not appear to have any more people that have signed up to testify, but I'd just like to remind everyone that if they do want to, we can give a couple more minutes if they want to put it in the chat. But we also do have a Hispanic advisor to the Redistricting Commission. Gloria Blackwell is an advisor, so I know it was brought up earlier about having that representation, and the commission has taken that into account as well.
I also like to remind some of the presenters tonight who didn't have maybe as much time as they like, that they could put written testimony to us via redistricting.commission@maryland.gov. All right, we'll wait a couple minutes to see if we get any more folks coming through. All right, Maria, I'm not seeing anybody, so.
I am not as well.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for your participation tonight, to the speakers, and to, at one point I saw 83 participants online. So thank you so much for your interest. And I want to give special thanks to Maria for stepping in tonight, so Kristen could take a well-deserved vacation. And to John, as always, thank you for your help. So for everyone, a recording of the proceedings will be posted to Redistricting website, which is at redistricting.maryland.com within 2 business days. A transcript of these proceedings will be posted as well. The YouTube video of this meeting will be posted within 2 business days. And again, anyone wishing to provide testimony after the meeting's conclusion should send written testimony to redistricting.commission@maryland.gov. And a reminder that round 2 starts on August 25th. And so check the website for more information, specifics about what you are able to testify on. Do we have any additional business from members of the commission? All right, seeing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Thank you,
Chair.
Judge Williams. Can I have a second, please? Thank you, Cheryl. All in favor, please signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the meeting is adjourned, and thank you everyone for your time, and thank you to Secretary McCord for being here tonight. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.